We're back, ladies and gentlemen, for our final match here of CCL. And it's a match that I've been really excited for. I thought, at the beginning, whenever I saw who was all qualifying, this is the match where it's like, this is the dream matchup. This is Arial Arise versus Pengu's team versus NOOTERS. This is the best of the best. This is everyone on Arial Arise, ex-CL players, ex-players of higher competition versus Pengu, world champion, leading a bunch of, scrubs and T3 players into the light. I'm so excited for this game. I'm Jazzman. This is Yali, and welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to CCL Season 2.
Yeah, welcome back. I'm super excited to cast this one too. I mean, they asked me, they were like, hey, do you want to do the 6 or 9-1? And I was like, I want to do both. And now I'm here doing both. And well, I might regret it by the end of it, but I promise I'll do my best. So, but yeah, super excited to cast with Jazzman too. I mean, I've never casted with him, but yeah, I mean, you're wondering who's on the roster, and you're like, I don't know who any of these people are. No, you know who these people are. You know who Pengu is. You know who Ashen is. You know who Luis is. Like, right? We got Milano, Luis, CZ, Ashen, Kento, and then on the other side we've got Triss, Storms, Pengu, Quartz, Snake. I mean, like, what more could you ask for? I mean, I will say, new NOOTERS, a little bit more pug stacky than Arial Arise. Curious to see how that works out. I mean, being led by literally a world champion, right? I don't know if they're going to end up with super highly structured play. I don't know if they're going to be super mobile like we saw last time with Catlaf. I don't know. What are your thoughts, Jazz?
Yeah, I mean, it's you kind of expect that, coming out of Pengu's team, you have a bunch of a conglomerate of a bunch of players coming together, but these are all pretty structured players. These are all players that are well learned. They understand the game of Rainbow Six Siege. I mean, you have two players who basically won their stage, I think, of CL, both Quartz and Storms. They both won another one shot, obviously, not there anymore, but you have a lot of experience on that team, especially, I mean, you have a world champion. Snake also has been in the game for a while, so I could see both. I think a lot of structure as well as a lot of gunplay. Arial Arise, a lot of gunners on that team. Ashen, I mean, the T3 warrior, the young demon. Got Kento, who is one of the highest rated players of all time in CL. So a lot of names to come under here. No, I think a lot of blood will be spilled.
Oh yeah, absolutely agreed. And honestly, really looking forward to it. Normally I try not to delight in death, but I mean, these players there's going to be some delightful death here tonight. Um, Now another thing that I'm actually curious to talk about is, do you think these people, these teams, do you think they're going to play like they're from an NA? Do you think they're going to play like they're from EU with Pengu leading them? Do you think that just the fact that we haven't really seen Canada be in pro league, do you think Canada has a different play style than, United States? Like, what do you think just in terms of that?
No, it is very interesting, obviously, because all the regions have kind of just seen their own successes as of recent. I mean, we had a North American world champion crowned just a minute ago, and what felt like, just 2 hours ago, we had a Latin American champion. I mean, the hammer's been tossed around like it's a hot potato at the
Mhm.
moment. So there's a lot of different playstyles going around. But most of the blend of the playstyles, from what I've seen, kind of coming out of Pro League and coming out of a lot of other leagues, Latin American playstyle kind of favors the entirety of the world right now, and I think that that's what a lot of teams are going for. And what that means is you're going to have an aggressive nature, and you're going to have coordinated bloodbaths. You're going to have, quick strikes. You're going to have a lot of trading. And I feel like, especially because you have just such a conglomerate of players on both sides, we're going to get the exact same thing coming into this match. We're going to get two teams that are just going to try and go for the highest number of kills, especially when you got players like Ashen, like Kento, like Milano, just people that are just known for running and gunning. Even Louise, the Ash main back before, whenever he was on Parabellum. I mean, there's just so much to go into this. There's a lot of playstyles that'll blend and a lot that'll clash.
Yeah, and I mean, talking about playstyles that'll blend in Clash, I mean, we have to talk about that too. I mean, if you get enough playstyles on one team, it can become a struggle, right? Obviously, we've got this like chain of command, where you go IGL, shot caller, rest of the team, or something along those lines. Lots of teams use different things, but it's interesting to see how much that affects it. And I think that's something that will be really interesting to see as we keep an eye on these games as well, is just trying to pick out who their IGL is and then saying, okay, this is a good IGL, because I promise they're going to have good IGLs. Like, that is, I would be very surprised if they didn't have good IGLs, given the fact that the entire team is very good. But, obviously wrangling those in and building that coordination in order to create those coordinated bloodbaths, as you said, that's going to be huge. And I think that just as much as the gun skill between those two teams is really going to determine the outcomes here. And just one more quick point. I mean, brought it up with Cairo. When Ubisoft was making this game, they said, "Hey, we're gonna make a MOBA that has FPS elements." They didn't say we're making an FPS; it's a MOBA, right? So it's really curious to see how that plays out today. Where yeah, it has gone a little bit more FPS-y, but still, it's there's definitely some remnants of that old ideal in it.
Yeah, and obviously, like kind of speaking on, I do know that MOBAs usually only have one map, but we got 9 in the pool, and out of the 9 maps that we have, you still chose to go to the 3 most common maps ever played in Siege history. We'll be going to Cafe first. That is going to be chosen by Arial Arise. We're going to be going to Oregon, chosen by NOOTERS, and the decider will be on Villa. So you're not missing out on any new strategy here. You're not going to get anything really out of the ordinary. If you're a new Siege watcher, this is probably the perfect time to be tuning in to this game, because we're going to have there are 3 maps completely familiar to everyone, and you're going to be able to basically learn how these teams play in the best way possible, because they're going on to a map that has just been completely overplayed at this point in time, a map that's been played almost, I would say, every single like every other game basically. So I
Yep.
know I've casted Oregon a bunch of times, and I'm going to cry at some point, but we're going back, and Cafe obviously attacker side or defender sided, with Ariel Rice starting on attack. Something you're gonna have to keep in mind. Are they going to be able to get that strike and aggressive sort of play style going? Because on attack, you can lose a lot of momentum early if you can't get those first 3 rounds.
Yeah, it's true, and that momentum also is definitely something that we're gonna have to keep an eye on. I mean, really, what are we not going to be keeping an eye on during this matchup, though? Super excited, and while we are going to snore again, I know you said you were gonna cry. I'm just gonna pass out. If I stop casting halfway through, you know why? No, I'm kidding. But in any case, yeah, I mean, Oregon definitely be interesting just to see how the basics of coordination work out between these two teams. Neuters, I guess probably feels like they definitely have an advantage on that. When you have a map that's tried and true, it's kind of comes down to which team is the tridest and the truest. And Pengu, of all the tried and true people, I believe he is up there among the tridest and the truest. So, I mean, if he's able to coordinate these young gentlemen in the fine art of Oregon, then that could very easily go in their favor. Ariel Arise picking Cafe, however, kind of, I don't know, kind of a more interesting choice to me. Just because Cafe does tend to be a very strategic heavy map. Not quite as tried and true as Oregon, but still there's a lot of choke points and a lot of very defined ways to do things.
Yeah, and I mean, like, it's just it's kind of gonna it's like walking down like a, what lanes you're gonna have to go through here on Cafe. I mean, on an upstairs attack you go through red, on a downstairs attack you go through bake, you go through the backside, you go through freezer. Maybe you go for a dining take, maybe you go for an upstairs take. I mean, there's a lot of predictability coming into this game, but what you can't predict is what a defender is going to do, because playstyles can vary completely on this map. I mean, you can have outside roams where you just have a team of 5 defenders completely covering the bottom floor, having a player inside a coat check, a player extended into VIP. I mean, you can have them literally anywhere, and then you could have maybe a team that prefers lurkers, that has someone on the top floor that kind of counters your buck or your sledge that goes upstairs. On Cocktail, you could have a person that plays Shaiko and swings aggressively. You could have a player playing Pixel, maybe 2 players. You have a player playing inside a bathroom. I mean, there's a lot of different avenues to approach here on Cafe, but at the same time, there's not a crap ton that you're going to have to drone out. And once you see like at least one indicator, like if you see the head holes open inside a bathroom and you see a shield behind those head holes, there's probably going to be 2 people over by Pixel. You kind of have to find that one little siren that you get, that one alarm that tells you what kind of defense this is going to be. And once you figure that out, you can kind of translate that to the other site. But we have no more speculation to be given here, as we're going to be going into map number 1, Arial Arise versus NOOTERS. Cafe it is.
I just want to say really fast, I hate seeing these default logos, guys. Come on, put your logos in.
Just
You
put
know, the
like a
last one,
penguin there. That's some
yeah, just put a penguin there.
horrible
Um,
penguin PNG.
Yeah, last game we had cat laugh and we didn't even have a cat laughing emoji PNG. I don't know, but new neuters right off the bat. Gonna ban Finka, super popular. We saw it in SI a lot. Just getting that LMG off the board, getting the nades off the board, and getting the health off the board for good. And well, guess we're not seeing any LMGs because Sofa's coming off too. That does leave a Thatcher and Nomad. Definitely interesting choices because a lot of teams like to send themselves out the windows on this map, but well. Looks like it's going to be a little bit harder for them now.
Another update, actually, I just noticed. Ambi under my tweet said you're gonna be real disappointed, and I wonder what he had to say about that. Ambi's actually playing today, and he is standing in for Kento. I made a tweet saying Pengu versus Kento, and there is no Kento.
Oh, Jazz.
So, I mean, Ambi is basically the second coming of Kento, except his IQ is about the size of a goldfish's, so that's a little bit of a difference there. But I'm interested to see what happens because while he's not very smart, his battle IQ is definitely there. He's one of the smarter players coming
Sure.
into this game, and to have Ambi and Ashen together, I mean, two screaming kids. I mean, they know each other pretty well, so not that big of a difference. Although I would have liked for Kento to be playing, so my tweet would hold true. But we got Ambi now, and that's why he said I was going to be disappointed. But either way, it is going to be Bar Cocktail as is common. But they're bringing a castle, which tells me that we could be having a shop extend. We'll just have to wait and see. That might also just be for Windows.
Yeah. I will say, looking at the names, I'm kind of confused. I don't know who Dot Sen is. I don't see any Pengu around, but I'm sure he's just hiding his name.
I
Um,
think that's Crunchy Apple.
yeah, I was gonna say, I'm pretty sure it's Crunchy Apple 69, best number. But in any case, we
That's fine.
continue
Yeah.
on. We're watching, a pretty standard looking setup, getting some reinforcements up as you do at the beginning of a round, prepping some ADSs for Pixel and Castle. Gonna start trying to prevent any sort of a really aggressive East take. That does seem to fall into the meta pretty recently. TSM obviously really, I don't necessarily want to say perfecting it, as I always think there can be a little bit more done, but well, they certainly popularized it.
Yeah, you can see the castles just going down on windows as well. But yeah, East takes, I mean, they've become a little bit more common. You repel on your cocktail windows and you have someone take up white. But they can be really difficult because if you can't clear out the control of white stairs from the windows or even from piano, if you have a player lurking there, it's going to be really difficult to get your player up the stairs because honestly, playing from windows is really inconsistent. You're not really holding map control, you're just holding crosses. And a lot of times that can be exploited by the defenders. And you can see Pegu's upside down on a window. And unfortunately, Ambi will be at fault for not realizing that. CZ's now the only player. Sorry, CZ and Milan are now the only players with nades. You've only got Louise on burn, so that's not an early pick that you want going in favor of Arial Arise. And it's going to be traded as Daddy Storms. I just said his full name. Goes for a second. And unfortunately, Arial Arise now on the back foot. They've lost another set of nades. These nades are just going down and down, Yali.
Goodness gracious. No, you're absolutely correct. And walking right into another, very pre-fireable position. We're now in a 2v5. This is, well, I was expecting this to be defender-sided, but being already in a 1v5 as Snake finds another 1v4s, Luis finally trades it back. I wasn't expecting this. Some pretty aggressive play, sort of pug stacky behavior, if you will, coming out pretty promptly. And now, as the discipline begins to fail, they almost they lose a couple bodies, but gonna clean it up in the last seconds. Is my gonna drop there, find that kill, and gonna clean up the round fairly promptly.
Yeah, that was really aggressive from Ariel Arise, and they kind of just pushed solo, and it really didn't seem like they had much of an idea of what was going on. And unfortunately, without the proper drone work, Storms was just able to run around and basically claim a few freebies, and the rest is history, as they say. So, yeah, not a good look there from Ariel. I mean, I expected a little bit of an aggressive playstyle, especially because you have so many young gunners on the side of Ariel Arise. But I didn't expect it to be kind of like that, where they didn't have a lot of drone work going in their way. They didn't really understand what was going on around them. But unfortunately, that's what's going to claim them. The round Ariel Arise will not be able to get off on the right foot. And while Louise got 2 kills, they were all for naught. Now we shift downstairs as we move lower and lower into the building as we go over to reading and dining. Now, this is a site where drone work maybe not as important for your top floor because you can kind of expect what's going to go on. You're going to have people sitting inside a cocktail behind a shield. But whenever you start to go for those late round executes, definitely going to need that. So that could come back to hurt them in a bit.
Yeah. Okay. Well, let's talk about drone work on the top floor for a second because they're going to be holding it not in the exact same way they did last time, but probably fairly similarly. Getting these castle barricades up promptly so that they can play on this train hatch. And well, if they don't drone out Pengu, theoretically, he could do the
Oh,
exact same thing. Snake, could you go 5 seconds without leaving the building? I swear. Goodness gracious. And already an advantage for NOOTERS is very aggressive play coming out early by Snake. Is we just saw. And now he's looking for another, it looks like. Not gonna find it, but yeah, I mean, goodness gracious. I said this is a map about sending yourself out the windows, but usually that takes place at least 30 seconds into the round. Oh, goodness.
Slithering snake sliming his slimy way down into the basement and got himself a freebie.
Did
There's
you
no
just
other
say
way to really put that.
sliming?
Is that a word? Sliming? I said slimy.
You said sliming his slimy way.
Yeah. And what about it? I am revolutionary. Is there something?
All right.
Is there something that you have against this
Hey, no.
renaissance of words?
No, you know what? What's his face? Not Da Vinci, the other guy. He made words too, so William Shakespeare.
That's true. Shakespeare. Yeah.
Yeah.
Bro's not real. I don't know who. I don't know why you think Shakespeare's real. But anyway, seems like the attack has gotten started, at least for Arial Rise, even though they have lost Louise and they've got Milano down inside of mining. It's only a very important cutoff right now because anyone that chooses to play inside of dining is going to be at threat. Right now, everyone is very, very passive and just playing their positions. I mean, NOOTERS, they have map control by a long shot. You have Snake sitting inside of Bolo. And he's got one inside a pillar. Ashton's got his back turned. And they don't spot each other just yet. Ashton's going to swing over and claim the first kill here for Arial Arise on this round. Snake will go down. It's a little bit of top 4 control. Challenged at the moment, but it doesn't seem like Arial Arise want to even go for it. It seems like they want to do a mining direct, which is doable. But remember, that train hatch is open.
Train hatch is open. That's going to make it much more difficult. Pengu here taking full advantage of it and able to apply plenty of pressure. Obviously, these players are already a little uncomfortable. And yeah, Pengu going to find Milano immediately, as well as Quartz. And now we have a 2v4. Make it a 2v3 as a couple crossfires start coming to fruition as players are walking into them. But now just a few even firefights are really going to be determining what happens now on. We do have Quartz still playing on this main white position, and Ambi and Ashen, 2 players who have worked together quite well in the past. Now gonna have to do it once more as they have, well, with only 2 of them, they have to coordinate this, but the coordination doesn't come out. Ashen walking directly into a Malusi charge, and that is going to end his life. Fortunately, that leaves Ambi with a very, very, very difficult situation where he has to walk through the dreaded fireplace, and that goes about exactly as well as you would expect it to.
Yeah, Arial Arise, I think, privy to their recent mistakes on the last round. I mean, we saw the exact same thing. They just kind of pushed in solo and really didn't make much progress in terms of map control. That top 4 was completely in the hands of NOOTERS, and while Ashen got his freebie, not even a freebie, but he got his swing over onto the player sitting inside of Bolo, that was it. That was the only top 4 that you really challenged at that point, and you didn't have anyone to really capitalize on it. You can just fill in those spots immediately and just kind of allow for the rest of NOOTERS to just fill positions. I mean, the most important one obviously was Pengu sitting inside of on top of the train hatch, and it just kind of turned really rough from there. Even though Pengu was forced off of it, Arial just, I mean, they already lost the bodies, and whenever it came time for that 2v2 execute, they also split up once again. So we're seeing this problem a lot. It's a fundamental issue coming out of Arial Rise. They just split up. They don't take fights together. Refrags aren't really a thing for them at the moment. I think that that's something that they're going to need to worry about if they want to try and beat NOOTERS tonight.
Yeah, obviously refrags are fundamental to the way that this game is played. In any game, really. I mean, yeah, if you have a look at chess and give it a really one-to-one vague comparison, right? Can we get to the situation where the whole goal of the game is to give yourself some kind of an advantage somewhere down the line and then just never give it up? And if you're not trading correctly, well, you're not going to be Rick Astley. You're going to give it up. And frankly speaking, that's not what you're looking for. I mean, in this situation, Arial Arise obviously going to be struggling a little bit. We are looking at a very defender-sided map, but I would really expect them to be putting up a little more of a fight at this point, if I'm going to be entirely honest. NOOTERS has, however, put up a very good fight, and I think Arial Rise shouldn't feel too bad, as well, they are playing an ex-world champ and his proteges, if you will.
Yeah, one of the big ones I think is Triss. We've kind of been seeing him
True.
adopt a little bit of Pengu's playstyle. Even, the SMG11. I'm sure he was an SMG11 player before, but, that's what Pengu's mainly known for is, how well he can control that secondary weapon. And just watching Triss, I mean, he's definitely learned a lot from that player. It's really cool to see. I love watching as older players teach new, and CC's about to teach Triss a lesson as the C4 is tossed out, though! and sees he will meet his maker. As it's a C4 opening here from Trish, but he's stuck inside of K1. There's nowhere he could go. He's going to have to fight this. He somehow got Ashen down and won the gunfight. Now is his window of opportunity to make either a move or get out of there. And unfortunately, he makes the wrong decision as he loses his life. Ashen at the moment is safe to pick up. But Arial Arise, they've gotten themselves inside of Bakery. Snake's lined up for one. He's trying to get a second, but he can't get it. Either way, so much pressure being applied by Snake. Even if he dies out here, he's wasted so much time and added so much pressure. And well, he's also gotten himself a kill. He's going to look for a second, and that's Ambi inside of Wedding. Getting slammed down here, but Luis gets his refrag. Finally going to be able to get up Ashen, but they are so low on HP with a minute 10 remaining. Case is going to have to be recovered, and Arial Rise have above control. Storms is going to take down Ashen, and Luis only inside of Bakery. Going to have to recover the diffuser. Can't even do that. It is such a rough scenario here for Luis. One player sitting above with holes inside of Prep and inside of Kitchen, and then one player is pushing his red, and one player's pinging. They have full intel on where Luis is. Any move he makes is calculated, but it's not going to matter as he's going to get finished off.
I have to question Arial Arise. At what point, and I think they do have to some level expect it, but there are these super aggressive plays coming out from NOOTERS over and over and over again. And it seems like they expect it, but they're unable to punish it. What does Arial Arise need to do to punish it? I mean, there are several different options, right? You can make sure you actually have your refrags lined up, which have just been relatively unsuccessful. I think that round did go a little bit better, but overall unsuccessful. And then beyond that as well, just general discipline. Get drones in front of you. I mean, I could probably count on my hands how many drones have actually been used so far during this match, and that's not good. I mean, and then on top of that, just set up your flanks. Take care of your due diligence. Relax, slow down. Understand it's not a race. They're gonna try and waste your time, but if you actually take care of your due diligence, then it's going to make it much more difficult for them to waste your time. And well, frankly, we're just not seeing it so far.
Yeah, I mean, the drone work has definitely been a main thing, and it also just kind of comes down to coordination. Yeah, it's a pipeline. Whenever you have one error like that where you have a missed drone, that means that there's probably some other error above that where it's a miscommunication thing. And whenever there's a miscommunication thing, your players play super spread out. I mean, it's not three different problems. It's one that's connected to multiple different things.
Right.
And right now, it is that coordination. Arial Arise just don't have I feel like they don't have somebody calling the shots right now. They have a plan. They understand what they want to do, but they just don't know how to do it. They haven't gotten control of top floor in any of the bottom floor sites, and it's come back to bite them every single time. NOOTERS have completed a full rotation as they've gotten 3 rounds, and they're going to be going upstairs once again inside a cocktail. Now, last time we saw everyone just spread out and get fragged by something that they just couldn't catch, a Spectre, a Ghost. And that was mainly on the side of Storms, and he was playing pretty standard positions here. But if they didn't join it out, they wouldn't have known. And unfortunately, they didn't. But it seems like maybe this time around we'll have a little bit less of that and a little bit more intel gathering here. As Arial Rise are just going to get themselves situated. Looks like what is going to be a piano take, which they're going to have to deal with.
Piano take? I mean, they're going to be perfectly aware of what this is. But hey, look at this. You actually have an Iana clone going in. Well, not a drone. I mean, it is going to lead to a little bit of intel and a little bit of getting an opening pick for once. Now, that's exactly what you're going to want to start with if you're Arial Arise. Obviously, an opening pick is how you start the advantage that you need to convert the situation, and a little more intel as well. Wow, I mean, look at this. They're sending out drones, and now all of a sudden, out of nowhere, they're winning. What is this? 4-1 already? Hello? How does this happen? Oh my goodness.
Not just winning, but by a large margin!
Goodness.
Holy moly! Luis and Milano just got sent back to Canada in a box. Holy crap! What a shot there! But Arial, dude, Yali, it's like we said the thing. Like, it's like we told them to drone, and guess what they did?
They droned. Oh my gosh!
They listened. Oh my
I'm used to
goodness.
saying something is a caster, and then the exact opposite happens. So this is new to me.
It's the caster's curse. But no, we were right this time. And unfortunately, it does seem like that bit NOOTERS a lot. They thought they had the free roam going into that, but Arial Arise were just able to strike and harpoon them like a bunch of sharks. And it was really well played them. A testament to what happens whenever you have proper coordination and proper droning. So really well played there to Arial, and they get the round.
Yeah, and I will point out as well, perhaps a little bit of an error on the side of Nooters. Um, while we have seen them make these super aggressive plays, be entirely confident in them, it's kind of seemed like they weren't quite as confident this time. Like they were expecting Ariel Arise to fight back and got a little bit nervous about it. You can't let those nerves get to you. I mean, and like this isn't something that like was huge. It's something that just sits down very deep in the subconscious that rears its ugly head just every once in a while by missing something because you just thought about, you know, what if they're here for half a second and then suddenly you're half a second too late, right? And I kind of feel like that's kind of what we saw in a couple of those situations, a few of those firefights. So I think Neuters still could be winning these firefights, but they're gonna have to really step up their game if Ariel Arise is going to continue showing us what they just showed us during that last round.
And coordination is key there. Snake does spot out one, but no shot from him there.
No
Now,
shot.
what I'm expecting here out of Ariel Arise, especially because they kind of understood what they did last round, they're learning from their mistakes. So what I expect from them is maybe some sort of top floor clearance, or if they don't go for top floor clearance, get that direct going, man. I mean, get it fast and get it ready. And it seems like that's exactly what's going to happen. Triss is going to have to hold down the line. You can see 4 players are sitting on the snow balcony doorway, just waiting to see if they can clear the Saruni gate and get inside of sight. But Trist has perfect positioning on this. Even if he can't get a kill off of this, he won't get traded. That's for certain. He finds one, and it's going to be a bunch of downs here. The top floor is just playing so well right now. And unfortunately, it's what plagued them last time, is the top floor hold. They knew it, they saw it coming, and they played to their strengths. And Yali, guess what? They didn't go for top floor. And guess what happened? They got shredded from above.
Vertical, wow. Believe it or not, on a map with 3 floors, vertical interplay is very important. I know, it's revolutionary thought. And I mean, none other than Pengu himself showing us that, yeah, you gotta clear us out of here, man. We're gonna punish you if you don't do that. And unfortunately, well, that's exactly what happened. There was punishment brought by the Banhammer. Um, Pengushment. No, I'm sorry, that was bad. Um, please, please take this away from me.
That stunned me a little. But yeah, I mean, what we're gonna see this time around. I mean, Yali, we talked about this over and over and over again. I think Ariel Rise, they've understood their drone work. They have the proper form whenever it comes to entering into Bake, and that's what happened last time. But the issue is that, I mean, nobody was inside of Wedding. Wedding was just completely free to swing there, and Snake took full advantage of getting rid of that player sitting inside of Bake, who wasn't very comfortable at the moment. And then the upstairs control kind of just did its job. I mean, this time around, though, a different hold from Neuters, as they've got a Bake Extend. Last time around, a Bake Extend was opened, but it was reinforced, I think, due to lack of a shield. But this time, that is different.
Oh
Storms
my.
has been droned
Okay.
here, though. He has been spotted, and he's going to have to get out of here safely. He's been a catalyst for a lot of how these rounds are won, especially with his lurk play, but he's going to have to get out of there. And he's safe and sound. That's really big there, that he's alive.
No kidding. Ah, well, not for long.
Was alive.
Was alive. And well, with that death, he's going to relinquish a very important piece of map control as well, and that is coach checks. This sort of horizontal play that we're seeing right now, that is super important. That gives you access to bottom red. It gives you an ability to prevent any sort of wedding retakes. And frankly, if you want to open up the red wall, which looks like the defenders have done that for them, it allows you a lot of pressure directly into the site as well. Now the question is, how are you going to clean out Bake? Well, not like that. Court's going to take advantage of a slow peek there, maybe even just an off position hold. And now, out of nowhere, we're down to a 3v4. White wall being open, though, and a Snake here in dining. Gonna try and apply a little bit of pressure. Looks like didn't catch if the hatch was actually even closed, so he might just hang out there and open up the hatch when it's time to prevent any sort of a rush. But Pangu as well, gonna do his due diligence, preventing a quick entry via quick little that an impact trick. And that is
Yeah.
huge now. Yeah. Look at this.
See the freezer hatch as well. I mean,
Yeah.
now, even though, like, it was just, one Selma, still is a
Right.
Selma burnt. And now
Yeah.
Ashen,
And like 10 seconds.
yeah, right. I mean, it's time. And Ashen, he's going to take the time now to try and get rid of Snake, but I mean, Snake is not very easy to get rid of. Trist, however, will fall here to Ambi, who I believe has taken control of Code. Ashen's going to take a lot of damage as well from the player sitting inside of Dining. Again, more time, y'all. We mentioned that time is of essence, and now Snake has delayed so much without even losing a sliver of HP. He's going to be able to return to the site and help Arial, or help NOOTERS on this aerial execute, which seems like it's going to come through Freezer. The case is in the hands of Ashen, but right now, all that Ambi's doing is holding crosses. You still have Pengu sitting inside of Prep, just waiting here. And that's Ashen down. Diffuser as well. Snake will get caught out, though. 2 versus 2. 30 seconds left, and the Diffuser has to be picked up from the hands of Pengu. And he's gotten Alda, and he's recognized the fact that he has control of the Diffuser, so he's just going to switch positions. It's a bit of an off position, but it works out because there's no way that they can kill him on time. He can either run away due to time or go back upstairs and retake. Ambi, he spotted one inside of Wedding who's taking away so much attention from the main goal here, as Ambi almost on for a second, but it's Quartz to claim that. Easy needs to get the Diffuser, but unfortunately that's a vault hole, and that's an easy target to pick out there from Pengu. And Arial Arise, they go down 5-1 as NOOTERS. They've been playing clinically.
Clinically indeed. You know, I was actually I mean, realistically speaking, NOOTERS, they understand what the important map control is, right? And they understand that if they don't have a specific piece of map control, they need to take full advantage of the other ones that they do have. We saw that with Snake in Dining. He was able to hold that, make that vertical play up there, and prevent any sort of an entry, and ultimately drop the Diffuser down in a situation where Angu is going to be able to clean it up. Now, I will say as well, maybe there should have been someone else there on Ariel Arise's part. I believe Ace was pretty much alone that whole time. I mean, you get someone else up there, just say, hey, can I get some help here? Pull someone else up there, clean out Snake, and then suddenly you actually have an entry onto the site. But I mean, during most of those rounds, I don't think Ariel Arise even stepped one. I think on most of them, they stepped at max 2 feet onto the site. But, uh, you know, but several of them denied any feet. Yeah.
And also, I mean, we kind of mentioned this early game, not even early game, during a little stall break there before the game started. What are the playstyles going to be like? We thought about it for a little bit, and I thought that both these teams would play a little bit structured. But now looking at it, Arial Arise definitely kind of playing like a rank stack, which is to be expected. I mean, you have 5 players that have some of the best mechanical skills in North America going up against a team that has, well, a lot of coordination. They're being led by Pengu, and we can't keep not mentioning that because it's winning Arial, right? It's winning NOOTERS rounds. I mean, they just have so much coordination coming into this. They understand what their job is. They're doing it so effectively. They're holding positions. They're not getting too aggressive. They know that in some places they have mechanical advantages. I mean, Storms and Snake, time and time again, have just been running around and going for swings. But it's coordinated, and it's on a basis that they understand. Now, Storms, he'll claim Ashton, and I'm not even sure where. That is unlucky. If you know, if you play from that red angle, you know just how much that pixel is. It's literally 1 inch thick that you can go for that pixel shot. And while Storms is lucky enough to hit it, claim an opening frag here on the side of NOOTERS and get the gas going here for their attack.
And Gas is, well, seems like they may have stepped off, which is not something I'm particularly upset about, I will say, because when you're in a situation like this, when you have a good amount of map control, but everyone's in a safe position, you don't really need to move on. You can sit at those pivot positions and just drone, get some information, build up a plan, and, well, I mean, like I mentioned at during our pregame as well, IGLing is going to be... Oh, wow. Okay. IGLing is going to be important, but hitting
Storms
shots
hits
like
those.
those, yeah, hitting shots like those is also going to be important. Clearly, 2 more kills for NOOTERS before they are finally able to shut down Storms. It's 3 kills on the round, and I mean, beautiful kills at that.
So much control as well. I mean, look at that. You've literally forced Ambi to play inside of that bathroom position now, and 58 seconds remaining. I mean, what is it that Arial Arise can do at this point in time except for just hold and wait? NOOTERS, you know they're going to take this, but Ambi, he needs these aggressive swings to work out for him. He's got one, but unfortunately Snake will shut him down. TZ is now stuck between a rock and a hard place as he's got to find 3. Snake now heading in. He's got Case in his hands, but he might not even need to worry about it as he's going to swing wide. Flashbang. Well, you can't look away from those anymore for some odd reason. And now CZ, completely blind. Play will go down, but CZ's on for one. Looking for a second, nearly clicks the head there of Snake, but is not able to do it. NOOTERS are on to match point, what seems like the quickest game so far we've had.
Yeah, I mean, quick game, not just in terms of the fact that NOOTERS is on map point already, 6-1, might I mention, but also just in the fact that everyone seems to be going quite fast. The tension here that these two teams are building is just sitting at this such a high level. This is something that we don't see a whole lot anywhere in T3 or you know, I mean, technically this is T1, but in any case, right? This isn't something that we see on that level usually, right? On this level. These teams are sitting here applying pressure as hard as they need to. Now, I will say I am kind of curious. Oh no, never mind. This is Ariel Arise's pick. So yeah, that also is curious. Just given the fact that NOOTERS seem to be so dominant, NOOTERS seem completely prepared, and while they are, well, kind of a pug stack, realistically speaking, when you are working with someone like Pengu, you are going to be getting, a lot of work done, a lot of utility. You're gonna build a very strong toolbox that contains a lot of different kinds of tools that are capable of doing a lot of different kinds of jobs. And NOOTERS seems to be well aware of all those tools. And I mention as well, really fast, talked about style. Yeah, this is LATAM. This is tried and true LATAM. Let's just say it how it is.
Well, I'm glad we agree.
Yeah.
Now the question is how is this going to be held? You can see that Ambi's already going to lose a lot of HP here, playing for his player behind the shelf. Now this is quite the gamble here from Arial Arise, because if this doesn't work out, if Ambi gets shot out, I mean, this player sitting behind the shelf is completely dead, and vice versa. Snake will get himself inside of Bake, and unfortunately, it's not going to work out for him as Milano claims the opening frag here for the side of Arial Arise, and Snake, who has been a star player, I mean, obviously the most frags right now in the entire lobby, he's been making a lot of work here for NOOTERS. He'll get taken down off a really curious play as well, and Arial Arise, they'll get away with their token. They've rotated out of Bake. They don't need to hold control of this anymore. So not only did Arial Arise claim a frag, they somehow got away scot-free.
Well done. Removing the Nomad from the board is going to be huge, especially if later NOOTERS decide to go for any sort of vertical control. It's going to be much easier for them to send themselves outside of the windows, as we saw Snake doing very early in the previous round, but I don't think that's going to be the primary use, or would have been the primary use of Nomad on the side had she not lost her head. Rather, Arial Arise now has an opportunity to make their way around and try and go for this, oh my gosh.
Yes,
what
Ashen!
Is he doing?
Oh my!
What is he doing? Gonna one-tap Pengu. I was about to mention some trades going back and forth, but why mention them when that came out instead? And a beautiful shot from Storms as well. 3-2 in favor of Arial Arise as we move down to the last minute of the round.
God, I love that shot there from
Oh
Ashen.
my goodness.
Now in comes NOOTERS. They understand that they understand they're just gonna have to go in here, and the plant's gonna start to go down. Unfortunately, the only players that are left alive, Louise with a C4, hasn't popped it just yet. And you can hear it go off in the distance, but now CZ's gone. 2 versus 2. Storms and Quartz, the two players from one shot, they can claim this one back, as it's all on them, and they get it. Storms and Quartz. I mean, they've done this before. It's just another day in the office for them. But a beautiful play there. That right there is pure coordination. Arial Arise, fortunately, cannot claim all but one, as it's NOOTERS to get us out of Cafe and out of Arial Arise's map.
All right. Everyone who's on T3 watching at home, NOOTERS does this very well because they're incredibly coordinated. They make the safe plays. They make very aggressive safe plays, but there's a difference between a safe play and an unsafe play when you're talking about aggression. Even if you get someone behind you, right, that's still considered a safe play. That's something that you're doing to the advantage of your team. Don't just run around and peek everything. It's not LATAM. But for those of you who aren't watching at home and who are playing, I mean, beautifully played by both of these teams. Like, in all honesty, like, Pangu's clearly showing that he knows what he's doing. He knows how to get his team together and knows how to create this coordinated aggression.
Yeah, it really worked out to a T there. I mean, I've never seen coordination like that before, especially against a team. A lot of times whenever you see ruthless aggression like that from the side of Arial Rise, where they just swing and swing and swing and swing, a lot of coordinated teams crumble. I mean, they really do. That was not happening on the side of Newt Neuters. I mean, obviously the scoreline speaks volumes, but there was no shutdowns coming from the side of Newt Neuters. Anytime there was an aggressive play made, punished. Snap of a finger. I mean, it was quick. It was like a laser beam. Of course, that one sector of 3 minutes where Ariel Rise were able to claim a round, that time around, they actually did drone, and they finally fixed their mistakes. They shut down Newt Neuters on their roams, and then there was no refragability. There was no capability for that. But every other time, they found a way. They go through the cracks. They somehow manage to find themselves in a position where they refrag, even if it's not optimal, and they get it done. We saw that especially on that last round. What could have been maybe even a 2 versus 5 became a 2 versus 3 just because of how well established those crossfires were.
Yeah, well established indeed, and just like very deep understanding of the map and really the importance of these refrags. A lot of times we see them really going out of their way to get them. So very good point brought up by Jazzman. But in any case, we are actually going to go to a little bit of a break. Don't go anywhere. I promise Pengu's not going to. So if you're here for that, I mean, let's be real. It's a lot of fun to watch. But yeah, break time. We'll catch you all later. Hello. Well, no, we didn't. Yeah, welcome back. Sorry you missed a little bit of an intro. My co-caster was a little bit muted there. But
Look
yeah,
at me go.
they wanted to get things rolling, so we were so kind as to oblige. Look at how benevolent we are as casters. But in any case, we're here on Oregon. We have a Thatcher ban. What else is new?
Oh man, Villa, Oregon, Cafe, Thatcher band. I mean,
Inca
God,
ban.
it's just so good to be a. I feel like an NPC right now, just walking through the layers of Siege. Like this is, but yeah, Finka band. That's really cool. I know that a lot of Twitter discussions started to kind of come out. Where it's like, why are we like normalize Finka bands? Which if we really want to get into it, there's a lot of reasons why Finca is just one of the most picked operators in the game right now, providing so much utility and kind of the reason why also having basically the same explanation as why Yana skyrocketed in pick. Gone
Yeah.
six, nades. Another thing you have is an LMG. It's the meta right now. The ARX, I mean, it's got 20 bullets. It's nothing compared to the fact that you have 100 to work with on the LMG on the side of Finca. And of course, you have heals, you have res, you can revive yourself. There's so much to go on with Finka. I mean, there's so many effects that work so well in the favor as attackers. So seeing her ban, not very much of a surprise. And obviously your Valkyrie and Mira, two way too powerful operators to keep alive on Oregon.
Oh, absolutely agreed. Warden, listen, all I have to say is my base needs, my emotional needs, and my psychological fulfillment needs all consist of a film noir Warden Elite. That's all. Um,
What?
Film noir Warden Elite. You know, like the old investigation shows where they're like,
Oh
yeah, we
no,
need a
that would
Warden
be
Elite that would
cool.
be like that. And he's
That would
got
actually
like
be
a
so
watch,
cool.
and then the
Yeah.
overlay is black and white instead of blue. Like, hello, that would be so good. Um,
We need to fly you out to Montreal. Just get you on the creative team
yeah,
ASAP. That is a
right.
good idea.
Oh man. But in any case, we're in basement. We're in basement. I love that shield. By the way, just there at the end of the hall. Super powerful position. I can't tell you how many times I've seen multi-kills coming out from that shield just because it's so powerful. Now the question is, how is NOOTERS gonna deal with it? They gonna, send some nades through. I mean, they have plenty of flashes. They've got plenty of nades. They've got Soph on the board. Now they even have a Flores. So honestly, wouldn't be surprised to be able to see a bunker take here either.
Yeah, pretty common. I think new neuters, especially because they have their coordination in check. I think one thing that we're gonna have to keep in mind is we haven't seen new neuters on a majority attacker side. I mean, we saw them run it, run through Arial Rise on defense, but we haven't really seen anything come out in the form of an attack. And new neuters now going to basically be forced to have 6 rounds on that. And it seems like it is going to be a small tower take because we've now gone from crunchy apple to mushy potato. That is world champion Pengu, everyone, who has used 69 on both numbers because he's funny. Look at you go, Penguin. You're in
yeah.
your little streamer. I knew someone would abuse the streamer mode, and
Oh,
for I
for
didn't I
sure.
didn't I didn't realize that it transferred over to custom games, but here we are. Courts,
Um,
however, well, that's a way to start there as Ashen goes down, and you can see how many drones are following Courts right now. He has full eyes on the map.
yeah, goodness gracious. Stupid sexy Ned Flanders, unfortunately gonna be out very quickly. Um, but in any case, yeah, I mean, aggressive plays, like as you mentioned, a lot of intel coming out from Neuters, and they're gonna take full advantage of that as they continue to make this sort of slow creeping entry, taking space ever so slightly inch by inch until eventually they know that they're safe and they can start making some really aggressive plays. I also really like the fact that they're giving themselves some ability to rotate through the main floor. A lot of teams don't really notice that. And so seeing that here is obviously not surprised to see it here. Am a little bit surprised to see Storms die to a Capcan trap, but well, Pengu is their IGL as far as I know. So yeah,
On
on
dusted storms.
kaboom.
No, yeah, no more Flores drones, and I don't know how much effect that is going to take. Obviously, it definitely would have helped with that freezer hold that's going through right now for Ariel Arise. You can see that is certainly starting to help them as Louise is on to Trist. And Snake is on to Louise. A beautifully cooked nade. And we talked about those refrags, Yali. Well, they're just handing them to Neuters as Mushy Potato 69 is on for his first frag. That's Penguin, by the way. Ambi goes down. Now it's just CZ and Milano. Actually, Milano does go as well. CZ's got the 81. Can he work with it, though? Unfortunately not. Quartz is on for his second kill. Ariel Arise just get beaten down, and there it is. First round going in the favor of Neuters. You saw the coordination there, and it paid off.
Yeah, clearing utility is a key ability in this game that we like to call Rainbow Six Siege. If you can't clear utility, you're really gonna struggle as as an attacker, right? And that's half the game. If you can't attack, you're gonna struggle. In any case, we are returning to the basement. We are seeing a cap can again, which I like. This time, no Ned Flanders opting instead for a smoke. I think probably for the better. While Ying has crept her way into the meta on this map recently, Nooters have yet to abuse that. And frankly speaking, with the attacker repick, the second they spot a Warden, they're probably just going to switch off Ying anyway. So, let's see, is Warden even useful anymore? Who knows? But in any case, yeah, here on the basement, bringing a smoke, it's going to slow them down just a little bit more. And honestly, that could be what they need. Last round, while not being particularly close, well, Neuters did take their time. That's not something against them, however. Their time that they used was well disciplined and allowed them to really make sure that the map was clear before they took it, blundered themselves into some crossfire that they're unaware of, or potentially even just, I don't know, walked into someone with their gun down, which every time one of my team members walks into someone with their gun down, make them do 10 push-ups.
That's the coaching strat. You just anyone.
Yeah. No, if you
Wait, so
die
do
with your
wait,
gun down, you do 10 push-ups, period.
do you coach like which team is it? Oh,
Mystic Academy.
that's right. Is that is that
Mhm.
is that Naturals team? Or is that old
No.
Miss? Oh, that's old. Okay, never mind. My fault.
Yeah,
Anyway,
that's old Avian. Anyway.
wait. CZ's on a flank. CZ's been droned, but he hasn't been called yet. Snake goes down, but the refrag is there. Now's the time for Ashen to make a move. Louise goes down. The C4's popped. There's Ashen. Shotgun onto one. This is an aggressive play. He is a smoke, but it's working out for the better as Ashen's on for second. And that's a safe res there onto Louise as well. Sometimes you gotta make those risky plays. You gotta know that your gun is simply better in that situation. Yes, it was a smoke, but it works out in the end. 4 versus 2, and Arial Arise, they find themselves ahead. But this is Nooters. They thrive whenever it comes to them being behind. So you gotta be very careful here. If you are Arial Arise, play to your strengths. Minute 40 remaining. Seems like Ambi's gonna go for a swing here. He knows one's inside of Laundry. He's gonna back off instead.
I think probably a wise decision coming out from Ambi as well. They do have the advantage. I mean, there's no reason to potentially give that up. Just build your crossfires and wait. You just sit back. I mean, they might be able to gather a little bit of intel on you, but if it's not enough, it's not enough, and you can build some crossfires. And even if you build a good enough crossfire, it doesn't matter if they have intel on you. You could just kind of sit there. That is definitely a blunder that we see a lot, where you're like, "Oh, they droned me. I have to move now." Right? No, you don't have to. But yeah, Quartz and Pangu, the dynamic duo, gonna start cleaning things up as they move into the position to start building for an execute. One problem, however, they don't have the diffuser.
No case in the hands there of Ariel Rise. They're gonna have to go for kills and sorry, of Neuters rather, and Milano and Ashen. I mean, the two operators for the job. You can see Ashen is on for his
Ooh.
third, and Milano will swing long haul and claim his trophy as Ariel Arise do claim the first round there. Their first round rather. And yeah, we talked about it, right? Like they had no case. Neuters were just playing off the trades, and it's viable whenever you go downstairs onto Oregon, right? I mean, you know where everyone is gonna be. You're either downstairs or you're not. And considering the fact that Neuters did clear basically the entire top floor, they understood that they had all two players below. It was really, really well played. And that's what proper drone work gets you. So they were allowed to go and try and chase those frags. But I mean, you had a smoke and a Kaid to go up against. You have one of the most stable guns as well as a shotgun in your inventory, in your arsenal to try and hold that off. And you also had Ashen and Milano. I mean, these are two mechanically gifted players, and they played their crosses really well. They knew that area, that new Neuters were basically funneling down Freezer, and they just played that to a T. It's Ariel Rise's first round, and Yali, this could be a sign that we might have a closer game.
I agree. Okay, here's my prediction. I predict it goes 3-3 on the defense, and then Aerial Arise doesn't win any rounds on the attack. Because, yeah. No, I think that there is a huge potential for that LATAM style here. There are a lot of runouts. There are a lot of ways, I mean, outside of the basement to just make these super aggressive plays that give you an advantage just by the fact that your opponents might not be expecting it, or, well, surprise, we're on LAN. right? There is Peeker's advantage. We're not going to get away from it. Or we're not on land. Sorry,
I was gonna
on
say,
land.
you know something I don't.
On land for a second. um, we're on line, I should say. And so yeah, there's going to be Peeker's advantage. So I think Neuter is also aware of that and more than willing to abuse that.
Yeah. And obviously, another thing the Nooners have going for them is they just understand. Woo, Louise. Woo, Louise. He's going for it. He's got Snake in his sightlines, but Snake dips into the crevice there, right on Game's window.
Oh.
Louise wants his one. Louise wants his one. He's hungry for this kill. I heard that Beast Coast skin gives you superpowers, so maybe this is something that he's going to have going for him. That's annoying me. But no cigar for either of these teams, and Nooters now have themselves established. I guess the white window now completely open for them. They can just play this cross as early as possible. But yeah, now Storm's just gonna rain down hellfire here from the roof and clear out Bolo. That is such a huge drone there. Bolo is
That's a lot of
completely.
utility.
Look at that. All of your ADSs and your Mel's
Someone
gone.
should call that man Tide Pawns because he just cleaned that corner right up. Oh no!
Oh my god! Trist! The Pengu disciple throws the nade of a lifetime, an absolute piss rocket from the bottom floor.
Oh, nuclear!
And the
That
Aaron
is-
Rodgers of Canada just scored himself a 3-piece. Oh my goodness.
Oh, I was just about to mention they're all in the same spot, and then Trist. Oh, wow. Okay, that's a moment. Okay,
Well, Yali, life moves fast.
life moves fast. Speaking of life moving fast, there was something I wanted to ask you about. Because first off, you said no cigar for either teams, and that confuses me. Because first off, you shouldn't smoke. It's bad for your health.
That's a good point. Don't smoke.
Um,
You can help it. Don't vape either. I know those mango pods are tempting, but just don't.
Second off, where did that phrase even come from? Close but no cigar. Like that doesn't make any sense.
That's a good question, actually. I'm not really sure. It's a really common cast. I was thinking about it. I was like, I should probably stop saying this. You know what? Let's do some research.
Close but no lollipop.
It's so close, but
Close.
no lollipop. Yeah.
They're close, but that only counts in horseshoes and hand grenades or something like that. I don't know. I will figure something out.
Well, Tango Mango Down, our excellent producer who has been, he's done all the shows, I think, here for CCL. He's also done some collegiate stuff. Shout out to him. Gave us some research. It came from carnivals back in the 1800s. Prizes were not teddy bears, but cigars or bottles of whiskey whenever you won a game. So whenever you get shorted out on your next thing, it's because, and we say no, so close but no cigar, because you didn't win a cigar from a carnival game. That's what it came from, and it's transferred down ever since 300 years. Very cool.
That's
200 years. My math is. I'm a computer science major.
All I can think of now is that carnivals used to be way more manly.
That is true.
Yeah.
Could you imagine? Oh, give me a shot every time you, time you won a carnival game.
Oh,
I can't do that. Underage drinking is bad.
Yeah, underage drinking is bad. Don't do it.
Do not. Please don't.
I'll sick the government on you.
Yeah,
Much like Daddy Storms is about to start sicking this Rotero drone on all the utility.
That one alibi clone is about to feel the wrath. Oh, you know what? They got the Kaid.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Okay.
that Kaid was on the floor, I think. It was just you can catch them from Storms.
Oh, there's no utility there. Did they already clean that up? I'm not entirely certain. You know, a good friend of mine once compared Flores to an AC-130 dropping tanks onto the battlefield and removing utility. Pretty accurate in this situation. I mean, he's managed to tank right through just about everything, and the utility that has been cleared has been very important so far. This is going to allow Nooters a very simple walk onto the site, but because of the alibi clone, the way of providing just enough cover, Ambi is going to find one before getting taken out himself. That is the importance of a good trade. He's going to find two. Goodness. And Snake is gonna find one, but well, did get traded out, and now we're in a 3v2 in favor of Arial, the defending team.
And CZ's underneath as well. The crossfires are just so well managed there from Arial Arise. This time, no rocket coming from the basement there to kill 3 players. That time around, Arial Arise played that pretty clinically there. They understood their crossfires and they held them very, very well. 2-2 now. We're equal here. I mean, you predicted a 3-3 half at the defense, and I think it's a pretty reasonable prediction, especially because, I mean, defense is obviously really comfortable on Oregon. Both these teams know this map, and I think that you have a lot more room to kind of just not make mistakes. I mean, there's a lot of safety nets on Oregon for aggressive plays. I mean, you can swing a shield, you can swing and just rotate back. You have really easy refrags. So the aggressive play kind of is favored towards the defenders because you just have a lot to work with. You have a lot of times where you can double swing something. So you have those safety options. And the 2 times that we saw on the side of NOOTERS getting those 2 rounds, usually is when Arial Rise get too aggressive. CZ is it's an interesting one. They're going to completely encase that room with about 50 different traps. Those Goyos, man. I mean,
Yeah,
geez,
it's our boyo, brand new Goyo.
I don't know about you, Yali, but I was definitely a big proponent of the "this is gonna suck" team. But
Yeah.
I have completely switched my mind. Like, these Goyos are ridiculous.
I will say, I haven't completely switched my mind. I think there are still a lot of situations where you just can't actually get to a Goyo at the right time to make it do its thing, right? But there are enough that do that it is still quite bothersome. And the other side of that too is if you don't get to it at the right time, then suddenly the attackers might use it against you, right? That could be dangerous. I do actually like this sort of aggressive play from Ashen. Not being aggressive on the players, but rather aggressive on the Rotero drones. We saw how influential those have been during the past rounds, and here on Basement, they just have that much potential to be that much more influential. So being able to clear those out early in any way, shape, or form without a Mute or Mozzie on the board, playing aggressive on them is probably your best option.
Speaking of aggressive, what we saw last time around from the side of Ariel Rise was a CZ flank followed up by an Ashen walking up tower stairs. Now, obviously that shotgun, really, really nice. It gets you a lot of kills on that, in that range. That tower stairs is the perfect range for the M590. But it is a smoke, and Milano is still inside of Attic. There's going to be a player running up T1 stairs, and he will get him caught out. But it's a trade from the hatch, and Quartz should be able to secure this, but it will be Pengu instead who will save Quartz's nade. Good trade. I mean, we mentioned this, y'all, over and over again. Arial Arise, no matter what they do, NOOTERS always has a refrag, but that time around it might be a little bit more difficult as Storms, the solo player responsible for trying to take bunker, will fall. And there's no refrag to claim him just yet.
Not being able to take bunker is going to be a huge boon on the side of the defenders, I should say, simply because that's going to allow Arial Rise to keep a pretty strong stranglehold on the pillar position. Even if NOOTERS manages to get themselves there, there's a lot of pressure coming out from the pillar side that is going to cause some damage. And it looks like they know that. We do have Mushy down here rotating around into bunker, and well, Arial Rise just isn't applying enough pressure to it. That's going to be completely free, and now a free pick is on its way. Doesn't quite catch it, and he's actually going to go down himself. They do actually get into bunker, and that is going to be huge. Taking that map control is going to be the thing that gives them this round. Arial Arise here, now in a 4v1, going to be fairly easy to clean up Quartz as long as they don't miss their shots, I guess I was going to say, but yeah. Out there. Beautiful little shot. And that's going to be a round in favor of Arial Arise. Now 3-2 over NOOTERS. This is NOOTERS pick, by the way.
Yeah, you have to keep that in mind. And last time around, what we saw from Arial Arise was they lost their own map. So, this is going to be a back and forth. And I think that this is kind of, well, it's what's called the collegiate special, where you win. I don't know if it applies here, obviously, because these aren't collegiate players, but it's an interesting statistic where you win the other team's map and then send it to map 3. Right. Arial Rise are currently up 3-2, and they're 1 round away from almost, nailing your prediction. So, we'll have to see, but it is going to be a tertiary bombsite on the side of Arial Rise, and that can be a struggle for some teams, especially with NOOTERS who have been playing so coordinated. Their map control take has been super easy. It's just their executes that have been a little bit difficult.
The other thing that I'd like to point out now, and this also ties into you saying their executes has been difficult, is that they have Thorn. Now the question, well, I was gonna say the question is, but well, I mean, I can already pretty much tell you they're not quite using it really how I think they should be. What you should really be doing with your Thorn gadgets is making a good attempt to deny a plant with it. If you can force them off of where they are to go make a plant in a less comfortable situation, that's going to be ideal. Especially with a team like NOOTERS, what they're going to do is they're going to set up, uh, this exact crossfire. They're only going to take exactly what they need. They're going to set up this exact crossfire so you can plant in this specific spot, right? And they're going to do it very, very fast. Now, if they're not aware that there's a Thorn on the board, if they walk into a Thorn gadget, suddenly they have to run out and you get to take some free pot shots at your opponents. That can be huge, and really hoping to see that, well, hopefully this Thorn gadget is used appropriately and they get to have a little bit of fun with NOOTERS with it.
Yeah, and obviously Thorn kind of thrives in the chaos, like you said. Whenever a gadget goes off, you can start swinging aggressively as the defenders because there's just so much going on. But it is going to be a series of trades here as Louise and Trist each find themselves a kill. That is Milano to be down, and Snake. C4s and nades gone alike. The explosions have been nerfed just a little bit this round. Those are two really, really big frags as well. Snake going down. I mean, his performance has been pretty good so far, I would say, this game, as well as Milano's. And that's a huge, also, anchorage player that has been on the side of Milano. He has been holding the site down most of the time here and has been a reason why Arial Rise have lost or won a lot of their rounds. So big losses on both ends, but at the same time, NOOTERS will get on with it. They will get the wall open here. A Maverick is always risky there, and Quartz is going to claim Louise through the wall. Beautiful shot there, and you can see the pressure here that NOOTERS are applying in. Well, Yali, they've only got the wall open. That is the only amount of map control they have, and to apply this much pressure, a lot is being done here.
I have one word. Flores. Look at that. See, he was just like, I'm playing in the optimal position. And then Flores said, you know what? No, you're not. And here comes a nade. And I'm not quite going to find him, but could it be a tough situation as he's trying not to get taken out through that drone hole? And now Quartz finding another kill. Snake and now Trist being the only members of NOOTERS off the board. They have a fairly large advantage and plenty of time to do it. Finally finding another before Ashen takes out Mushy Potato, aka Pangu. Now 2v1. They have to coordinate this push, and they do. Well done by this team. NOOTERS, fine gentlemen who have managed. Oh, wow. I didn't even see him. I don't know if he shot through Osa. Not sure what happened there, but yeah, there you go. 3-3. Told you. Now, all right. Let's see how close my prediction is. We'll say I'm usually pretty cursed on predictions, but I'm feeling good tonight.
You've been pretty spot on so far tonight. I won't lie. The 3-3 prediction, and you're like, yeah, 3-3, and then the NOOTERS steal it away, and I was like, all right, we'll see what happens. And look at you, man. I'm impressed, Yali. I'm legit because my predictions always suck. I am never right.
No, I will tell you right now. I think I got exactly 2 maps right during all of SI. So.
Okay, I did predict. I don't even remember. I think I said it would be a FaZe Clan, maybe FaZe Clan winning SI. So I was dead wrong.
I had Damwon.
Oh, that's right, Damwon, dude. They did so well, but
they did up until the playoffs. And they were like, "No, we're going home now. I'm tired."
Yeah, I love Woogie, man. He follows me on Twitter. I love that guy. I'm a Woogie fan.
Yeah, no, super nice guys though, and also just another fine example of the LATAM style. Despite being an APAC team, I think they represent that in a very appropriate way, I think. And while they weren't able to do it in playoffs, they did quite well. But in any case, this is an SI. Sorry to burst your bubble. This is CCL R6S, or the Canadian Contenders League, and
sponsored by Northern Arena.
Sponsored by Northern Arena. Partnered, I believe we're partnered with First Blood and Parabellum as well. So yeah. So yeah, super cool stuff. And thanks to all those folks. Also, because we don't, people don't say it enough. Thanks to all the production behind the scenes. Like, that's awesome. I love that.
Yeah, we love that. But Storms is about to produce a clinic here. If he doesn't, well, I thought he was gonna swing, but He is droned out, and he plays it smart, which is
Well,
not uncommon of Storms. Storms is a very well understood player of Siege. He plays the game in a style where he's smart about his moves, and every single step that he knows that he takes, needs to be coordinated, needs to be understood by the rest of his teammates and also understood by himself, and he does that really well. Quartz as well will swing over onto Milano, who has got a machine gun in his hands with about 150 bullets to spare, and it is going to NOOTERS town as he is just playing T1. Even though he's not doing anything, even though he hasn't killed anyone, that's pressure being applied, and that's allowing for Arial Arise to get themselves prepped over by the bunker side. You see Ashen's going to pop a Candela, and that is Pengu completely blind. Ambi and Ashen are both on for one, but Storms has retaken Bunk at the same time, and Snake, he's gotten his refrag. Refrag. That's the word we've been saying. It's word of the day right now. Look it up on your dictionary. It means to get a kill after your teammate has died, and that is exactly what NOOTERS have done almost every single time. Now, Storm's going to be forced out here with the nade, but he's still alive, and he's got two! A 1 versus 2 now. CZ is all on his lonesome. Tree-wise, let's see if he can get it done here with Trist and Snake to go up against. Trying to line up one inside a freezer. Can't do it, though. Diffuser in his hands. He's got some sort of advantage on that front. No C4s as well on the side of Arial Arise, but the constant pings onto this attacker. They know exactly where CZ is. But CZ has a fairly good idea of where NOOTERS are as well. The Wub going to give away his location to the defenders. The swing is not successful. Actually, it does net him the trade.
wow.
That's heartbreaking there. And unfortunately, because two defenders are alive, NOOTERS 4-3.
Yeah, even if there weren't two defenders alive, still would have gone in favor of NOOTERS as well. At that point, the time just runs down, right? Objective was not accomplished, so the attackers don't get to revel in their victory for very long. Maru on the board and Ying the player excuse me, Ying the operator. Dude, English is hard, man. Ying is an operator that has snuck her way into the meta on this map. I mentioned that previously, and especially on this site as well. I mean, if you manage to get control of below, you really don't need that much control, I mean, in terms of east to west, in order to start jostling those players around, and then you start tossing in a couple Ying Candelas, and suddenly the defenders are in kind of a pickle. And I can tell you right now, pickle isn't a great thing to be in.
And I'm gonna switch to the Amar. Oh no, he switched off the Amar.
Switch off the Amar.
That's new to me.
I
still don't get the attacker repick thingy. In terms of that overlay.
That is
because they switch the UI every 5 minutes. So.
I will say I really like the attacker repick overlay. I think it looks good. It is, to me at least, it's understandable. I don't know, maybe you're just not as smart as me, but happens to the best of us. I'm kidding, I love you. You got so quiet.
Cry.
All right. Well, yeah, building a nice little crossfire here. NOOTERS prepared to answer the door as Arial Arise comes a knocking. And hopefully, Arial Arise isn't going to walk right into their gunfire. As you answer the door with a gun to your face, it is really uncomfortable, and usually, I mean, I think if I did that, I'd probably cry. CZ is going to be the first one taken out. That is an opening pick in favor of NOOTERS. Now, 4-5 in their favor. And, well, NOOTERS have, despite that, NOOTERS actually have not given up any map control, so very good on their part.
Right, they've still just got themselves established pretty well. I mean,
Side switch got me mixed up.
That's fine. It happens to me too. But yeah, I mean, NOOTERS are just, I mean, on Oregon, what you... Ooh,
that's rough.
God, that is all of your Heartbreach utility gone. Literally all of it.
No, she still has
2 pellets.
2 pellets. Yeah, come on.
So Ratatouille can take sight by himself. Yeah, no, definitely.
Exactly.
Trish does go down though, so at least there's some hope here. But Snake is about to shut the hearts of, close the doors here of the Arial Rise attack, which hasn't been looking that good. I mean, you mentioned the 2x cars. Ambi could definitely still establish a peak hole, but that's about all he'll get. Milano will take Trish down, so that's the first kill on the side of Arial Arise. But Ashen is felled as well. So Ashen is CZ down. a lot of utility removed,
Be
and no more nades
aware.
left. As Luis has none, but he
Be
does have a
aware
kill
of this
maybe.
flank.
I
It
don't know.
seems like he is, but I mean, wins here. Well, not Ambi. Storms takes him down, and Louis making, I think, a very wise decision just to fall back and make sure he has his teammates to play with. Take note, ladies and gentlemen. And now also really like that decision just to re-secure the big window. I think that's very important. That is going to make it really difficult for Ariel Rise to make any sort of last minute plays through there. Milano and Luis, though. Oh no. Milano unfortunately can't pick herself back up. I mean, I guess even if she could, not enough time is now we're in a 4v1 and some aggressive plays are going to be coming out from Nooters. But coordinated, they always do these things together. And really, that is the thing that is giving them this huge advantage. Luis on a little bit of a tear. He's going to find one, but player in
Ah,
Zulu
mistake.
going to apply a little pressure, and he shoots the Gon 6. Not going to find him, unfortunately. I will say, pretty sure if that did hit him, I believe that... No, that was Aruni. I was going to say, if that was Malusi and it did hit him, it would have killed him, but
Yeah.
no.
I have
No.
yet to see a Gon 6 kill. I don't even think it like it does like nothing. Like I don't even get damages like down players. Like I think I don't know.
Yeah.
It's just so
It's like
useless
5
for
damage.
that.
It feels kind of silly. Like,
It's a little silly.
you shoot it at a wall, it should make like an Aruni punch in a wall, you know? Not just like it. Does it even make a hole in the wall? Like, I don't even know. If it does, it's negligible enough that I have not researched it as a competitive coach. So,
Yeah. I will one day achieve the honor of being able to get a kill with a Gon 6 and unranked. I'll make that happen, I promise. But going back to the game here, y'all, it seems like your prediction is holding pretty sturdy right now. As it's 3-5 on the side of Neuters, who've got themselves well established on the defense. Their map control has just been, well, I mean, I kind of mentioned it on the Arial Arise defense. I mean, there's a lot of safety nets for map control on Oregon, especially because if you're in basement. I mean, there's not much you can really swing. Or sorry, there's a lot you can swing, and there's not much you can really move around. You're just stuck in the basement. Same thing with top floor. But this one's a little bit different. Although the rooms are really narrow inside of Oregon, there is still room for movement, so don't have that much of a safety net. But regardless, map control is, I'd say, with the right communication, pretty simple on Oregon.
mhm.
I think you can argue that, but I'd figure you would agree because you just have to establish crossfires. I think
Sure.
it comes down to individual plays a lot of the time. Like will a player swing early and make a mistake and not get himself refragged? That's where it really comes down to. That's where map control can be difficult. But kind of just establishing yourself and just holding yourself inside of a room and wasting as much time as possible, and also calling and making those crossfires well worth it. Pretty simple on Oregon, and you can see that that's already being done here on the side of Neuters. You got 3 players, I believe, positioned over by this garage hold. You have players sitting 2 inside a split and 1 inside a Z. But unfortunately, Storms will meet his maker there as Louise puts the fear of God into Storms for an opening kill.
Storms out of the running here for the end of the round, but not for the end of the game. Ariel Rise now in 5v4, but if there's anyone who can pull it back, it's probably Nooters. They are aware of the alibi playing here and hopefully going to try and flesh them out, but that's not going to be their primary priority. Is right now they're just looking to take map control above this site. There's quite a bit of map control they have the option to take, and oh, seems like they weren't aware that they actually managed to push up that far. Pengu gonna take a little bit of a dip, but Louise as well, and Trist with a beautiful shot onto CZ, back down to an even man count. This is going to be a tough situation for both of these teams as well. I will point out Ariel Rise has some pretty solid map control. On the other hand, Neuters have some pretty solid crossfires, but
Oof.
beautiful shot from Milano. That is going to really start to put into perspective this map control that they have. That is going to be huge. It's going to deny a lot of their ability to play in meeting. And without that ability to play in meeting, denying an execute could become just that much more important. But if they manage to sneak through and find the gap, they might be able to play in meeting anyway. And Snake gonna find another kill. Now, the last one alive, though, is he is responsible for taking a 1v2. Not gonna happen as Ashen makes a well-timed grenade toss directly into his into, into his stomach, pretty much. I believe that bounced off him, dealt a little bit of damage. So That is actually going to be around for Arial Arise and the death of my prediction, unfortunately, Jazzman. Yeah, that feels kind of bad,
Yeah,
but
it's a bit unfortunate, but
bit
you had a good
unfortunate.
run. You had a good
I
run, and
I had a
I
good run.
think
I had a good run.
I think it brings up a lot of key points as well. You know, your prediction, how you thought the Nooners were going to be on defense and just completely storm through. And well, they've gotten 2 runs in a row, which I think was the first time that that's happened this map, because I think they went back and forth regardless. But at the same time, Ariel Arise, I mean, they established themselves really well there. The thing about how you attack that tertiary bomb site that makes it, a tertiary bomb site is the fact that you can do it from one avenue. As long as you have tower control, big tower, you open up as long as you're successful in opening up the stage and the attic wall. I mean, what can the defenders really do? What can they really hold? All they can do is swing and maybe even, you know, play their lives a little bit over by the kitchen hallway. But other than that, that's about all you're going to get from that defensive control. And unfortunately, because they didn't go over to the dining side, the security hold was pretty much null. And the player that swung early inside of Z was also just taken out so early. I believe that was Storms. He could have been a really key factor, I think, in that round.
I really like that point about this only requiring, or the tertiary side, I should say, only requiring one avenue of control in order to make a good execute onto the site, but that is not going to be the case for this site. Laura's drone going to go out and pop that
Wow.
shield fairly early on. That is rough for Pengu. But with the players here, he's still got 3 smokes, and he also has a reinforcement in his pocket, so he is more than welcome to fall back, and that won't hurt him too much. Now, this kind of an attack. Obviously, we have this bunker pressure, but otherwise, right, we need to figure out where that second avenue is going to be. Now, one player still in spawn on the drones, not something that I'm going to complain about, and the others above in meeting. So, potentially going to try and clear out that meeting position. Snake is going to go down as they go through and start doing that. I believe that was Luis that found that. Trist still looking to put up a little bit of a fight, though.
He's going to back off, and New Nerders have now just moved themselves into the basement. Now, one thing is like you mentioned, while you can forfeit bunker without a shield, Pengu has not. All 3 gas cans used by Pengu to delay time. 2 ADSs still up for him. He can do this. He can play in this position and force out utility. As long as he is there, there's a threat. He doesn't have to do anything, but he's going to burn ADSs. He's going to burn flashes, nades. And he's got a player playing on his cross. That's Storms. Nade's going to come on through over to the Tarp's position, but Storms is backed away just in time. Ariel Arise cannot crack this bunk defense, and they're on time at the moment. They have players upstairs, and Ambi's opening up the E-box hatch. But if they can't get a bunker sooner rather than later, what's going to happen next? The ADS does burn the nade as well, so no more nades on the side of Milano. He's going to have to push this one aggressively, and considering that Quartz is playing inside of Big Pillar, sorry, there's no other pillar, but inside a pillar, what can he do? Nade is forced out Quartz. C4 on the E-box hatch, not going to blow anyone up as the drop hasn't come. He tried to predict that, but wasn't correct about that. 45 seconds remaining here, Yali, and look at the pressure. It's all shifted over towards the tower stairs, and the drop's coming in from Louise. It's a swing fest here, but Storms is alive. He's inside of Tarps. 2 versus 2. Bug control still in the hands of Pengu. Diffuser not in the hands of Ariel Arise. Ashen's going to have to recover that one. 28 seconds left. Driss has gotten out of there as well. We've got Pengu still inside of this bunk position. He can make so many different plays here, and you can see he's going to go over towards the E-box. Ashen's read that one, but he can't do anything about it. A swing here from Trist as well will allow NOOTERS that round. What a play there from the side of NOOTERS. Pengu holding down the line inside of bunker essentially secures the match point.
Match point indeed, and well used just in terms of the map control that they held. They really, Ariel Rise really needed to remove the players from Pillar. They couldn't make any sort of a swing or aggressive play onto Pengu without doing that. And well, unfortunately, it was too little too late with the drop and all the executes occurring at once. Even with trades down, they just ended up with the wrong map control, allowing NOOTERS to create a pincer maneuver on the attackers, despite the attackers, I mean, having control of the site. There was no chance for them as soon as that pincer maneuver was predestined to happen, right? as soon as, realistically speaking, they were yeah, as soon as those trades went out and they found themselves with the wrong map control. Very tough situation, and really goes to show in a situation like that, being able to prioritize your map control is huge. And a lot of people like to say, well, and I'm gonna say this as a fact as well. I mean, map control is everything in this game. Obviously, kills feel good, but all they are is a tool that you use to get map control.
Yeah, and right now, Nooters are just a well-oiled machine when it comes to holding this map control, and we've seen it time and time again. Ariel Arise, they're stuck on the brink there. They're so close to getting something, and then a wrench is thrown into their plans, into their face, literally. Like, we've seen so many times where Nooters will regain control and get a refrag immediately after, and you can see firefights happening on both sides here. Trist is down to 1 HP. Not sure what that was all about. And Quartz, well, unfortunately, he is down to Zilch Nada, the one-shot player. Well, now, Gaming Gladiators will fall for the opening kill here on the side of Arial Rise. But we mentioned it again. The map control is everything. I mean, it is literally what is do or die. And what we saw last round was Pengu holding it completely perfectly. I mean, that was literally perfect. 10 out of 10. I would give him a 100% A grade if I could. That was beautiful. Storms run out here. Not going to net anything. And Milano's on a snake. Ariel Rise, they're suddenly starting to climb here against Nooters.
3-5 in favor of Ariel Arise. They seem to have figured a little something out. They do have a very solid grasp of the map control, and now, I mean, Milano proving as well that he has a pretty solid, wow, flawless round. They have pretty solid, not just control of the map, not just control of their own discipline, but control of their weapons as well. Beautiful shots coming out from everyone in here all the way on round 12. 5-6 in favor of Nooters. Well past my prediction at this point, but well, that is all good because it is a really fun game to watch. Ariel Arise is really pulling this out. And frankly speaking, I'm not entirely sure that Nooters are going to stop them. Ariel Arise was able to win on meeting last time, if I'm not mistaken. And now, well, this is tough. Nooters has to make a tough decision. They have to adapt here, or Ariel Arise is going to do exactly what they did last time and run straight through the site.
And it was mostly Nooters. They just, in a rare occurrence, got really over aggressive. I mean, we saw Quartz swung early. Trist lost a lot of HP. I believe Storms was shut down inside the shower hallway as well.
He ran out.
Yeah, I mean, he was stuck. He was stuck between a rock and a hard place. He put himself in that position, and he decided that instead of rotating over the long way from dining, maybe just get yourself a safer position. He peaked it. He peaked the 150, and unfortunately, he lost his bet. That's a once-in-a-lifetime occurrence. That's a once-in-a-blue moon thing we've seen here from Nooters, is kind of getting that aggressive peak without a refrag. And on a site like this, on a site like Dining, where you can play it basically from the outside completely, except for maybe that meeting area, maybe those refrags are going to come into fruition a little bit here. This is a good test here of Nooters. Will their refrag ability, will their coordination help them out to end this game here? Or will one mistake, one little slip up, catch us and go into overtime?
Not a super aggressive play here, but very similar to what we saw last time, taking control of this main area, but going to opt for a little bit of pressure elsewhere. Obviously, actually just going for this is unavailable or well, ineffective, I should say. And I am trying really hard to ignore the sound bug, but it's here.
You are deaf now.
Yeah, you cannot hear anything. But we can get this taken care of after the round, assuming Nooters don't win. But in any case, yeah, I mean, look at this. Just hanging out here, holding this angle, and making sure that they maintain this map control so that the other players can get what they need to, so they can get what they need to get done, right? That is the definition of an entry, and it's beautifully done. Right up until he finds Storms there.
4-4 now. Ariel Rise, they've gotten the control that they needed to be established in Milano. He's been a prominent player on this attack. Quartz is the only one holding this top floor, and you can see, even though Milano hasn't gotten a kill here, he's basically forced Nooters off of Attic Hatch. And that is the kill. secured there by Milano. Now Pengu's on for the retake, and he's got no one to refrag him. This is going to be a solo play. He can drop down the hatch, though, in case a mistake is made, but he's not going to. Very critical here is he's going to stay inside of T2. He's going to hold this. He's not going to drop. This is going to be something that we're going to have to note down as Arial Arise. They've got the control that they need. They've got a 4v3 advantage. But one good play could change everything.
I really love to see this. Right. Snake and Pengu here setting themselves up to make the best plays that they can. While Snake does fall, Pengu left in a 1v4 situation, 40 seconds left on the clock, and the plant is going down. He needs to act quickly. Unsure if he knows that the plant is going down, though, because he seems to be taking his time. Now, going to try and find a little bit of an angle here. Not going to find anything, unfortunately. And, well, at this point, the attackers have set themselves up perfectly, building their crossfires, watching everything, and Bangu is going to be unable to penetrate the defense, and we are going into overtime.
OT, baby, we made it here, and unfortunately, you're not going to be able to hear during this overtime, but that's okay. We'll guide you through it, as we are going to be going on an Arial Arise attack, so the same thing, different day from last half. We have NOOTERS on defense. Now, the mistakes that they made last time, they were pretty easy to catch. Critical flaw there, peaking, over aggressiveness. That's what we saw a lot of there from Arial Arise. From NOOTERS. Arial Arise just took advantage of that quite handedly, and at the moment, it's been basically all of NOOTERS just getting capitalized on by a simple mistake, which is something that they haven't had an issue of previously. I mean, Arial Arise, NOOTERS had absolutely no problems whenever it came to over aggressiveness. They played it coordinated. They had refrags. That time around, though, not the same exact scenario. So We'll have to see if Arial Arise can or will capitalize on this mistake again, or if NOOTERS will understand what they're doing.
I think Arial Arise as well, like, as you mentioned, it takes a certain amount of skill in order for you to capitalize on another team's mistakes. We can all agree with that. And I want to point out, Ashen, Milano, Louise, all just on a tear right now. They are going, and they are going straight through NOOTERS. That is, what, 3 rounds in a row? Right? 2 rounds in a row? I'm not entirely sure, but they are going to be looking for these, looking for this aggressive member, Trist. And really, another aggressive play? Well, Storms is going to find Milano on an aggressive play, but whether or not that's going to be enough is another question. And, well, it might be. Trist on that previous aggressive play, also going to find another. Already putting up NOOTERS. Now 5-3, and well, probably feeling pretty comfortable, but they're going to have to try and feel comfortable for 2.5 minutes straight.
No nades except for Ambi. 2 sets of nades gone. Yeah, you have a Flores, but your nades are gone. What is all that burn going to be used for? 2 grenades? We haven't seen a very successful nade game since Trist's absolute half-court shot from Kitchen that just wiped out the entirety of Arial Arise. But other than that, this has been a pretty slow game on that front. Not a lot of utility even burned as well. So it's all been on this Flores here. CC's got a really important task ahead of him, and he's doing it pretty well. He's gotten rid of a lot of wubs. He's gotten rid, I believe, as well, I'm not sure the bunker shield is there anymore. I think it has also been floored down, but now Arial Arise are inside freezer. 2 players there. That's Ashen and Ambi. They're going to burn here for the freezer nades. See, they're coming in. Storms is going to be forced out here. We expect another nade to follow up suit, but nothing found just yet. Minute 18. It's starting to ramp up here on the side of Arial Arise.
The pressure is building. Arial Arise really getting ready to start making an execute through here. Freezer and main, very common, and frankly, something that we really, I like to see it. Like I mentioned, there is that shield that's going to be very important. And oh my goodness, Ashen with the double. Going to be an absolutely historic moment because that's going to even it up. But Trist playing from Chala is going to find one. And now 2v3, 2v1, Woo! And shooting through the wall. Trist is going to find the 3rd kill. Beautifully played by NOOTERS and Arial Arise alike, but ultimately just not quite in the right place at the right time on the side of Arial Arise.
Absolutely not. NOOTERS are going to force this one into their hands, and we've seen them be pretty even on this attack defensive split where Arial Arise have the defense, and well, I'm not sure if that's going to be this time around as well, because Arial, they have the upstairs site, and well, usually what we've seen out of them, Yali, is Arial Rise make personal errors on that upstairs site and they lose it.
Right.
That's what's happened. But whenever they don't, whenever they just play to themselves, it's pretty easy for Arial Rise to take that win. It's a really good bomb site for them. They just cannot give up individual lives. They cannot swing too aggressively. And you can see the operator lineup here on the side of Arial Rise, pretty much a turtle setup. You know, two C4s, 3 gas grenades, mostly 3 armors. It seems like it's going to be a full anchor, but I'm just curious as to what Arial Rise is going to play this like, because what Arial Rise are we having on this upstairs bomb site? Are we going to have an aggressive Arial Rise that play right into NOOTERS crossfires? Or are we going to have an Arial Rise that play to their utility, that play to their strengths, that hold their crossfires and make plays when necessary?
Now, I am a big fan of this mute play. I think that's a good adaptation being made, but I think maybe a little bit incorrectly. Now, previously, NOOTERS has been very successful in discovering these cracks in the armor of drone denial that Arial Rise is attempting to build, and well, they've left a fairly obvious one that has been used previously, and that is the drone hole between Master and the games room. And really, it's just a struggle to see that left open because they use that over and over again to just clean up this utility. And if they don't have any utility in front of them, suddenly it's just going to be a game of trades. And we have not seen Ariel Rise win the trading game yet, and it has been 2 whole maps just about. So, yeah, going to be a question of how they manage to shoot the drones, right? How they manage to find their trades, because if they do manage to find their trades and build a really solid trading game, then it can really go in another direction. Is this going to get tricked? It's like that's the intent, but Trist below going to start cleaning up bodies.
Yeah, Triss is on for 1, and it's easy. Louise, rather, he has been spotted. Now, Louise is a player that is known for being able to win his engagements. That's why he was probably one of the top T3 players back in 2020, but Storms will claim onto Milano. So as Louise is alive, his entire world is falling apart around him as C4 has been felled without use. And Ariel and Rise are split up. Louise is stuck downstairs. He has no other option to rotate out, and Ambi is gone as well. It's just Louise and Ashton. Ashton has got 16 kills, but unfortunately he won't find another. Louise is on for 1, but look at the HP difference. It's a 1 versus 4. No utility on the side of Louise here to work with. Only an MP5 and a dream. And as the plant starts to go down, as that timer goes from 1 minute to 45 seconds, a fine what? That's Pengu to go down. As expected, though. The rotation is not safe. Louise somehow swallows that grenade, but Snake from behind shuts down the game. It was closer than Cafe, but it wasn't enough.
Wow, just incredibly played by Ariel Arise, and I'll tell you right now, if you're CZ, you're probably feeling like Indiana Jones. Snake. Why'd it have to be Snake? I've been waiting this whole game to say that. But in any case,
that one was good.
But in any case,
marinade.
that is going to be the end of that match. As NOOTERS are going to take that victory, and we're going to have a look to see how the standing works out. But that was both of our Group B matches for the day, so we're going to get a pretty good idea of how those teams really stack up against each other. But I'll tell you right now, NOOTERS absolutely dominant in that division just from what we've seen today, because I think Ariel Arise, despite losing 0-2, we'll just have to see how they do against Catlaf.
Yeah, and obviously,
yeah.
Terra's literally, or CZ is literally Terra's worst nightmare, so you can kind of understand how that game's probably gonna go.
Oh yeah, no, the second that Catlaf got announced in a group with Ariel Arise and NOOTERS, she just was like, "All right, GG's, we're done. It's game over." No, but for real, huge shout out to all the production. I mean, we had Tango Mango on the production, Nova on the observation, and just really huge shout out to Kubi as well for getting this all coordinated, right? Obviously, want to give a huge shout out to Northern Arena, Parabellum Esports, and First Blood for sponsoring us, and huge shout out as well to Jazzman. It was super fun, and really glad to be able to be out here casting with you. Just for real, huge honor.
Same, honestly. Same. It was great to cast with you. I'm so glad I got the chance. I know I'm hearing about you a lot, Mrs. Analytical Coach, but yeah, we had a great time here, and I'm hoping that you did as well. It was a very good game, and y'all, thank you so much for casting both games. By the way, absolute grind set, and I couldn't say it better. Thanks to our production, and thank you to you guys for watching the stream here. It's been an absolute pleasure and an absolute blast. But we're unfortunately done here. We'll see you next time. Maybe I think Friday for the next set of CCL games. Take care.